Folks, when I said that there were a lot of mods for Plants vs. Zombies, I meant it. Big time. Ever since PVZ Plus kicked down the door and showed the world that Plants vs. Zombies 1 still had a massive fan base, mods have been coming out in droves, especially thanks to the many innovations and tools made by the Chinese community. Yes, China is still the world's biggest supplier and consumer of PVZ1, and their sheer commitment to push the boundaries of every single game that is moddable is extremely impressive. However, due to the massive gray area that these mods operate in, most of them are still undocumented for the wider world, being relegated mostly to Discord servers and obscure Chinese web forums. With this video, I hope to shine a light on more of these amazing creations and help others rediscover their love for the original Plants vs. Zombies. Again, I also want money. And so, without further ado, let's go. This first section is going to be dedicated to catching up with our old friends from the previous video, because within just 4 months, a staggering amount has changed. First, we have the ultra hard, mega impossible hair falling off scalp type of mods that I showed off, and to my knowledge, they have not been updated. RCCH is still being an absolute legend and chipping away at the TD mod. He's been doing it for a full year, and I have every reason to believe it'll be another year until he's done. Also, remember that one bullet hell level that I showed you that RCCH said was nearly impossible?
This level is certainly something to witness if you're a masochist.
Well, someone actually beat it legitimately. This is an amazing accomplishment, albeit I wish it was accompanied by different music. Russians will listen to Femur Breaker with chainsaws in the background and ask what band it's from. Just say Boris. Next up, we have the venerable Crazy Multiverse. You know, the one with all the weird characters like Scarlet Witch, Orochi, and Peter Griffin? Yeah. Well, after a year-long hiatus, it came back just last month with Update 2.0. Basically everything has changed. New menu screen, new zombies, levels, plants, a challenge mode apparently, I don't know because I haven't gotten there. All of the levels previously in the game have been updated too, meaning it is completely fresh. They did introduce this weird ghost bitch that can literally insta-kill multiple plants without warning, which is great game design. I mean, this is pretty bad, but it's not even close to that time I fought the Goku zombie. But overall, from the 30 minutes that I played, it's definitely worth coming back to Crazy Multiverse, especially since updates have been coming out much more frequently. And finally, the fusion/hybrid mods. Honestly, I've kept up with these the least, because I feel like they've developed into their own phenomenon and strayed far, far away from what initially made me interested in the first place. Hybrid is still doing hybrid things, a shitload of mega overpowered plants that deal insane fucking damage as everything else, but that mentality has now affected Fusion. I had praised Fusion previously for being a highly balanced and thoughtfully designed experience, but right now, I am not sure about that. Looking at the trailers for the new plants, I don't even know how you'd fuse any of these, what function any of them serve, or how they'd play into the meta. But I doubt that's in their top 100 priorities. On top of that, since Fusion was made in Unity, thank you YouTube comments, it has been opened up to mods, but quite frankly, I can't tell the difference between modded and vanilla anymore. If this is your kind of thing, go for it. There's plenty more where that came from. But me, I'm gonna stick to some normal, balanced, vanilla plus type of experiences, such as this is Plants vs. Zombies Ultimate, my favorite way to experience an enhanced version of the original game, and it has a lot going for it. If you're wondering about the UI, it's because this was built on top of a decompilation of the Windows Phone version of PVZ1, which also explains why it runs so well. And yes, that means there's also an Android port. First off, we got quality of life, and it is a feast for a guy like me. Resolution, perfect widescreen, absolutely no issue at all. The speed, fully adjustable, goes up to 10 times, perfect for boring last stand flags. The difficulty, adjustable too, but I think hard is just right. Don't want to play everything again? Sure, just unlock everything right here on the main menu. Do you want to play a random level in the adventure mode? Sure, it's right here in the quick play section. It feels like any complaint one could have of the original Plants vs. Zombies has seemingly been remedied, and I honestly struggle to find something I don't like, including the brand new and likely controversial mechanic, heroes. That's right, you can now own a hero plant, which can be moved across the board, assisting in any lane where it's needed. There's a shitload of them, and they're all themed after different characters and figures in Chinese history. Each hero has its regular ability, in this case shooting peas, and an ultimate, in this case a giant Wukong stick. Heroes are pretty fucking powerful, and can pretty much solo a lot of early games while you're building up the economy. In fact, I always wondered, could you beat a whole level with just a hero? Yes. This took 8 tries. These heroes add an additional dimension to the game, and are genuinely a big help in the later stages, but if you don't want to play with them because it's cheaty, or you don't want another thing to micromanage on the screen, you can simply turn it off. No questions asked. What a simple solution that can be applied to so many things in this world. Next, we gotta talk about the content, because like any good mod, it needs to add more of the game for you to enjoy. And I'm happy to report, it has a lot. There are 3 supplementary levels per regular world, and they have gimmicks like in PVZ2, such as not letting a zombie cross a line. How the fuck was this a loss? His fucking head fell off. I had both of my guys on there. I had all three of my guys on there, and this fucking fell off. The body stepped on the line, and that counts as a loss. That counts as a fucking loss. Go fuck yourself. Oh my god. How about minigames? But of course, everything's there. Oh, did I say everything? I meant everything. All of the exclusive minigames from Xbox, Nintendo DS, even ones from the Chinese exclusive WeChat version. What the fuck? Like, look at this. This was a DS exclusive and they had to implement a fucking joystick in the middle of the screen. There's even a section for daily levels. Yes, dailies in PVZ and a custom level maker. I don't even know how to make them, but apparently you can, and that's awesome as hell. And I think there's something I forgot. Oh yeah, 6 additional worlds. Duh, 5 of them have 5 levels, 1 has 10, totaling 35 brand new stages with brand new boss fights, and absolutely more to come. I genuinely can't think of anything to complain about in PVZ Ultimate. Anything you could want as a PVZ1 enjoyer is here, and anything controversial can just be turned off. I thoroughly enjoyed playing this, and I would love to see what the next updates could possibly add to it. But now, let's change gear. From something polished and vanilla to not that and really, really not that. Do you love seeing your vibrant vegetation splatter the shit out of the living dead? Yeah? But are you sad that the game isn't based on a horrific 20th century geopolitical conflict? No. Introducing Plants vs. Zombies World War II Edition. Whoa! The ultimate garden warfare experience. Control your photosynthetic allies in their fight against the evil Axis powers. Dwight P. Eisenshooter and Winston Chomchill versus Braindolph Eatler and Brainito Muncellini. It's the action you've been dying to see. Plants vs. Zombies World War II. Stay ripe for the Third Reich. Rated T for everybody. May cause headaches, repetitive groin strain, and hepatitis D. Consult your doctor or physician before oral or anal consumption. Still better than Plants vs. Zombies 2. Man, writing that shit took 20 minutes, so I hope you liked it, and if you did, consider giving me a like, a subscribe, a bell ring, and tell me in the comments whether or not I'm handsome and I made a good video or not. Spoiler alert, both of those are true! Anyway, yes, that mod absolutely exists, and yeah, it goes even further than what you would expect. But first, something important. If you're like me playing PVZ1 mods for the first time, you'd likely be met with this garbled nonsense text that you can't even translate. Luckily, I have the solution. In Windows, search for Control Panel, then go to Clock and Region, Region, Administrative, and change this to Chinese Simplified. Do not click UTF-8, it only breaks it further. Then, restart your computer, and you should have functional Chinese text. This applies to any and all untranslated programs, including a lot of PVZ mods. So this step is crucial and doesn't do anything to harm your Windows experience, so it's definitely worth doing in my opinion. Then, when I'm in game and I need to translate something, I just open my Google Translate app and use the camera function, and it works pretty well. I'd sat through many hours of untranslated gibberish until I got the solution, so please, do yourselves a favor if you're willing to enter this rabbit hole like I have. So, with all that said, let's begin, and I would first like to start with lore. Yes, this mod has lore, and it shows it to you right at the beginning of the game. I don't know Chinese, so I Google translated and then I wrote it down, okay? Enjoy. In 1914, a huge battle broke out between plants and zombies. 4 years later, the zombie sphere of influence seemed to have evaporated from the entire world. The remaining zombies are oppressed by the evil plants. The Great Depression of 1929 has long suppressed the anger in the hearts of the zombies and is about to explode. A failed art student promoted NC ideas in this context. Almost all zombies became NC. In 1934, Hitler officially took control of all power, ignoring the oath to not publicly expand army. Due to the anti-war mentality caused by the previous war,
the plant side agreed to sign an appeasement policy with the zombies, condoning the continuous expansion of zombies.
In the same year, 1938, it annexed the entire territory of Czech. Who will be Hitler's next target? Defeat the zombies and save the world. I'm sure Toby Fox would be very proud his music was used in this context. May he rest in peace. But anyway, let's finally begin. The first 3 levels were just standard PVZ fare. Not really much to talk about except for the wonderful sprite work. Sunflowers wear a little cap and hold a satchel, reminding me of Elgyem, a classic Vietnamese poem about a young messenger boy running through beautiful rice fields in a nice sunny day, and then getting fucking
1-on-2 from Odyssey now.
It's sacrificial. Gives his position away. He wants Odyssey's end gone. But this man, oh, the shepherd's staff takes down the goat, and he takes Simple out of the round to give it to G2.
The pea shooters also wear hats and aim their little Mosin Nagants even though they still shoot with their mouth. How quaint. Zombies are in their full Nazi kit. Minus newspapers, I guess, because fuck them. After the first couple levels, the whole world turns poo color, and we're introduced to some new systems. The first being plant food in the PVZ1 engine, which definitely functions, but is mostly useless in-game. There's also a single-use lifesaver power-up slot, in this case an explosion. Some Chinese text proceeds to show up which I don't understand, and then you have to time a cherry bomb right when the actual bomb crosses the white. Took me 7 tries to figure that out the first time. The level proceeds as normal, but it ends with a giant Gatling gun zombie boss guy, with that honestly being the most indicative thing of what's to come. Every single level seems to unlock a new gimmick or two that the game can throw at you. It begins with an opening sequence where the plants that were already there get bombed to death. I don't know why you'd include this other than because it looks cool, which I guess it does. Zombies can now wield guns, starting with some Gewehrs, but then they give newspapers a fucking MP5. I guess German engineering is so timeless, it's still good at -20 years old. But never mind that, because there's now a fucking giant PZ3 tank, and it just plows through everything and barely died to a mower. But then they went, oh, you like that one? Well, here's 20. What the fuck? Doing the tiniest bit of research, I found out that this is just an accurate simulation of the invasion of Poland, but it would help a little bit if I knew whether I was supposed to fail. I haven't even mentioned all the new plants and new functions for old plants. Some things like pea shooters are now upgraded the longer they stay on the field, shooting from 1 pea to literally dozens at a time. There's now a carrot launcher, who likely has the most useless plant food ability I've ever seen. But the best plant in the game is this one. But if I had a nickel for every time I've seen a chomper turn into a snapdragon, I'd have 2 nickels. And just after I'd fought the floating Nazi country ball, that I thought I'd seen the best this game had to offer. Little did I know, the most insane thing a Plants vs. Zombies mod could ever do is to not be Plants vs. Zombies at all. Dude, I know PVZ has a history of unconventional minigames, but this is wild. You move the sunflower up and down using the arrow keys, and the goal is to dodge all the bombs and get to the shore. The worst part is that the bombs explode in 3 lanes, so you always have to be 1 lane apart to not take any damage. This level starts out easy, but the end parts are fucking brutal, requiring either really good read of those shadows or just good plain old muscle memory. After 15 minutes of trying, however, I just wasn't willing to go through that. Oh wow, is that a health bar, or are you just happy to see me? But I think you get the gist by now. If there is one word I could use to describe this whole mod, it would be unpredictable. There is no telling what type of level comes next, how difficult it will be, whether it has a boss, etc. And I think that's very impressive that a mod of Plants vs. Zombies of all things can surprise me so consistently. But this over-reliance on gimmicks has made some levels piss easy, while others so obnoxiously difficult and specific that it makes me not want to play anymore. Please consider the fucking submarines. Absurdly high health, obscene quantity, and it kills every single plant in a cherry bomb radius. What the fuck? I tried this level maybe 10 times in a row, but it's literally impossible without one exact strategy that I had to look up. Thank you to Mike for having one of the only videos of this game. You had to use the fucking ice chomper on a different lane to slow these things down to a crawl, and even that sometimes doesn't work because of the flamethrower guys in the lane above. Honestly, this level was even worse than that time I had to fight Tu Len from the famous game Arena of Valor. And at this point, I'd had enough. My curiosity for what could possibly be coming up next doesn't cover my disinterest in playing these levels, especially when the next one is more submarines, but now they come in all lanes. Hell fucking no. So in conclusion, I'm very impressed by what these devs have managed to accomplish in this engine, and if someone was more willing than I to take on some ridiculous levels, there's apparently a lot of game left to go. But personally, I think the polish isn't where it should be, and I would avoid it if you're not willing to deal with a lot of jank and a lot of stuff you're just not gonna understand. Folks, in these videos, I try my best to have a logical progression, going from the most basic mod to what I deem the most impressive. And frankly, World War II Edition was almost going to be the final one. I mean, it ticked the box for creativity and separating itself from the source material, but after I finished playing it, it just didn't sit right with me to be at the end. So, I went on the Chinese PVZ forum, and one of the most popular posts was this mod. First, there was a World Select screen that has pirate seas and big wave beach. Now you got me interested. There are a ton of new minigames, which Chinese people are really into and good at making for some reason. And finally, a speed changer placed right there at the bottom of the screen. Translating the comment section yielded overwhelmingly positive reviews, so I thought, fuck it, let's try it. Folks, welcome to Plants vs. Zombies Mixed. At first, this game looks quite normal, but upon placing a pea shooter, the difference is immediate. They all have a gravitational pull around them, like Peter Griffin, and these moons deal constant damage to any zombies that try to get close and eat them. And this is the gimmick of the mod, at least the first part. Every single plant has been remixed and buffed in some way that makes it better or be more functional. The repeater now shoots 3 peas, and Snow Pea shoots cold waves that pierce all zombies, removing its biggest weakness of single targeting. There are more inventive ones, like a potato mine that can toss a copy of itself forward, a walnut that when depleted turns into a squash, or chompers that say first one's free. Pretty cool stuff. Probably would be the backbone of a different mod. But this is PVZ mixed, and after 1-8, it finally chooses to show its hand. Folks, every single plant now has a B-side. My favorite is the walnut with the giant stick, which covers 3 lanes and makes groups of pole vaulters much easier to deal with. There are also weird ones, like the 3 Peters B-side, where you can activate ice shots if and only if you spam click. Otherwise, it's just a shittier version of a vanilla 3 Peter. And that's the thing. Every alternative plant is more powerful than the original in some way, but it comes with a large drawback to compensate. Probably the most powerful interaction in the game, the lily pad that, get this, duplicates plants that are placed on it, is surprisingly not overpowered. That's because the regen time is slowed to a crawl, and the lily pad vanishes after you dupe, so if something comes in on a water lane, you are put in a really tough spot. Plants vs. Zombies Mixed is delicately balanced around the pros and cons of each plant and its flip side, forcing the player to deliberate which one to use for each individual encounter, and it adds a ton of depth to strategizing while still feeling like a natural extension of the original game. I would go so far as to say that this is the closest one could get to recreating the wonder and curiosity of playing Plants vs. Zombies as a kid. You have to rewire your brain about almost every plant, in a good way, and it makes you think and strategize without forcing your hand in one direction, a la World War II edition's fucking submarines. And I haven't even mentioned this screen yet. Yes, you can plant zombies. Any of them. Are they that useful? Not really. But can you do it? Hell fucking yeah! Besides all of that, the amount of content in here is excellent for what is still a self-described preview build. Besides the 4 additional added worlds, meaning 40 more levels, there are also 4 more pages of hidden minigames. You know how the Chinese love minigames. And I've been hiding this from you the whole time. Get ready. Online multiplayer! I'm getting tired of saying this, but yes, this is real. You and a friend can connect to each other via IP the same way you do Minecraft. Pick your plants and engage in a 1v1 plants vs. plants duel. First person to kill all of the other sunflowers wins. I have never even thought of plants vs. plants. And to be honest, this was very janky. But from what I've seen so far, I would put my whole trust in this developer to deliver on their next update, which is apparently a massive rework of the game. I cannot wait. And you know what else I can't wait for? To finish this goddamn video, because man, it has taken way too long to make it. The scope of this video was initially going to be like 5 or 6 mods even, and I played a lot of different mods, okay? And a lot of them just did not have enough content, or just weren't interesting enough for me to cover, or I just, didn't have time, right? 24 minutes for a whole video, that's quite a lot already. And I'm about to make it 25. But anyway, Chinese people, please make more mods. These are awesome. I would love to play them, and I would love for more people to know about them and play them as well. That's about it. I don't really have much to say. More videos on more different games coming up. I know I haven't uploaded for a while, but hey, please check Carbine32. I'm uploading there more often. And yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a good day. Peace.